Hey, happy Saturday evening. I feel like it's been kind of a minute since I've shared just talking, and I was gonna do a video and I was gonna do it live, and then I'm just gonna do it like this. Um, the past couple weeks, I had been sharing some learning ways about working with your intuition. And while that's a wonderful thing to teach and understand, I feel like without knowing how that actually works, where that comes from, it's almost just like not quite enough, you know? Um, and really, my favorite thing to teach and implement is living aligned, which of course utilizes your intuition, but it's the whole package. It's what I mean when I'm saying like the soul body connection, like that kind of thing. So, for the sake of recap, intuition is when we acknowledge and allow guidance through our thoughts or feelings, nudges, like breadcrumbs, synchronicity, whether it's numbers or words or colors or animals or whatever, people, parking spaces, whatever it is that you typically practice using your intuition. Where does that come from? Well, I know you guys have probably heard me talk about my favorite thing besides all this, like thought forms. When we think a thought, it still exists even when we are done with it. It's like floating out there in thought form land. So it's not like we can see it, like gravity or energy, but it in fact does exist. And thought forms carry a vibration, usually within our own bodies. And that's kind of how they're organized up in thought form land, right? So thoughts that are pretty high vibration are here, and things that are kind of a lower vibration are here. Similarly to what we're feeling in our body. Like when we think something high vibe or happy, we feel high. And when we think something low or fearful, a little sad, we would feel that way. So when it comes to knowing where you are, your emotions are literally your built-in meter to decide if what you're focusing on is something in higher vibration or lower vibration. Why know that? Because when you're feeling sad or lonely or afraid or not positive, what you're thinking is not necessarily aligned with your highest power, your higher power, your source, your God, your intuition, your big me, your rose, whatever you call that. The way that you know that you're in alignment is that you feel good. When you feel good, that's a good indicator that you're at least on that right nugget. Like if you're feeling hopeful, you're there. The more that you feel into that general direction and toward love or appreciation, excitement, happiness, joy, the more that you feel like yes, that's the indicator that you are more aligned with the same exact feeling, understanding as your higher power. So with intuition, if you've practiced anything that we had talked about, basically you acknowledge that you're seeing something, acknowledging it to yourself, and just say, I feel like this is, my intuition, and kind of letting that follow you. I know for myself, I've had very many very fun adventures and rewards, if you would, for following my guidance, my intuitive guidance. Even sometimes when it seems like it's not for a reason. Like the other last week, I went out and I knew I wanted to walk, and for some reason I walked in this direction, and I think it was just to give me 5 more minutes before getting to where I was going to be going. I'm pretty positive that's why I was delayed in and because I work very easily and closely with my intuition, I'll do silly shit like that. If the universe wants me to be 5 more minutes away, I'll fucking take 5 minutes, you know? And I do have to admit, like, yesterday, I got my crew a little lost in the woods, and we ended up coming out in people's backyards, and it was a little terrifying. And I was feeling hopeful enough that I knew once I felt like we were out of the backyard, I felt okay. But I was feeling very uncomfortable because of our situation, of how people are feeling, people being scared and terrified and locked in their homes, whether they're afraid of contracting a disease or afraid of all of the other things. I'm not going to go there because I will lose my alignment. But I'm pretty sure we can all figure out those other things at this point. So in that moment, I finally said, I'm calling for help, which in that case was just an Uber car because we needed to get back to the land of where we started from. But as I did that, I was not really feeling comfort because I had a kind of a shitty Uber experience not that long ago. So even though I knew I was okay, I let myself call Aisha, which is not something I normally would do. But I kind of called like, I just need to hear your voice because I really fucked up, you know? And I didn't think she could even help because she was at work. But like, I just had to call, you know? And I thought about it when we were walking before. And once we stopped, I knew it. I just called. I didn't even care. And she called me back a minute later and had her guy come pick us up. And I felt relieved. I canceled the Uber, happily paid that cancellation and just let it go, you know? And I didn't let it go because I'm still talking about it now. But part of my own alignment and practice is asking for help when I need it and letting myself make mistakes. And even though I've been a little like, wow, that was kind of not my favorite mistake, I feel like I did let myself witness some pretty nice things during that whole entire endeavor. You know, I do want to make sure my kids are out walking more so that a little bit of walk does not feel like they want to like rip their feet off and beat me with them. You know, I realize that my friend has my back so fucking hardcore, and I know that. But, you know, every once in a while, that reminder, it's like, you know, I feel like I've been spending a lot of time doing my own, like, you know, making my own footing. And it's super important for me to be independent and not codependent. But I don't want to be so independent that I cut my nose off, you know, and cut off people who love me and will happily help me when they can. And, you know, I think that was even something for me yesterday, to just let there be help, you know. If help wants to be here, I should let help be here. You know, it's okay. It doesn't make me less of anything for that. It's just a new worthiness that I am clearly still working on. So back to our intuition, back to the thought forms, the vibrations, and then the ultimate delicious. Where does this come from? How does this happen? I always like to explain it as like a hub. So our God, source, universe, would be this top of the hub. And this is where the original thought, the original burst comes from, right? And this is from where all of our streams of consciousness shoot down, for the sake of just visual, shoot down into human form to then become bodies and humans. That is, so for me, I like the hub visual because it's like, you know, all of the different streams could like be linking into our individual body. Each stream has come forth to express its own individual preference and have its own feelings of joys and experience and sad and all the things that humans do, whether we do it on purpose or by just default, by without knowing about our consciousness or about our intuition or about even just wanting to feel good. Some people just flip around and they're just doing whatever without understanding any of what we are as a species. And I think for me, it has taken me some time to get super comfortable in this, because even for myself, it took me a little while to believe it. I didn't know God growing up as a child. I was not religious, and I think that helped me here, because I didn't have to get over this like different understanding that I was taught to believe. I never believed that God was outside of me. I just didn't know that there was anything about a God that was actually true. To me, it was just another like Santa Claus, you know what I'm saying? But in fact, I believe that we all stem from these streams of consciousness. Like when we go to sleep, we're still there. You know, there's all the different Dr. Joes that talk about all the different levels of consciousness and dimensions and all those things that we go through in sleep, or in deep meditation, or in alignment. So alignment, what would that look like? So anything that you're doing that feels really good or just feels good is most likely a thing that you're practicing in alignment. Now, if you're doing something and you're feeling bad afterward, you're still likely finding some sort of alignment, but that's not maybe the best way for you to be practicing getting there, because that's going to still funk up your vibration, because you won't be allowing. You'll be, I feel good, now I feel bad. I feel good, now I feel bad. So your energy is constantly doing this versus this. If you're thinking about a stream, the stream should be kind of a give and a take, you know? Sort of like how our moon gets full and then she goes to empty and then she gets full and then, you know, like I kind of like to think about it that way. And I like the hub as the original thought, the, you know, God, Big Me, Rose. No, Rose is a stream. Rose is a stream from here, you know, from the source. But ultimately, we're all stemming down from that same source. And all throughout here, for the fun that we're having right now, this is fun. All through here lies that world of thought forms. And we're all plugged into the hub, right? Our brain or third eye is all zoinked into this hub up here. And when we are practicing intuitive living or alignment or hearing from our guidance, we're allowing that stream to be open. And what that means is you're giving and utilizing your abilities, our bigger abilities, where the universe or hub can like kind of pick and help you like think of your best thought. You know what I mean? You're not actually the one that's like thinking the thoughts. Your head is probably, your mind is hosting it as your body experiences it with emotion. But you're not really like, I am making thoughts today. I mean, you can likely get a thought and run with it and make your own ball of like crazy thoughts. And a lot of times with anxiety and scary stuff, regret even, we do that often. But for the sake of waking up or just reaching out, unless you're purposely reaching for a thought, which is great, a lot of our thoughts are up there in thought form world, and we are able to access them. And usually our vibration or our emotion, our frame of mind, our mood, how we feel, all of that is what's linking us up to those thought forms. So if we're practicing good feelings, we'll probably wake up feeling something that leads us to think a good thought. Well, today's going to be a good day. If we wake up feeling sad and upset about yesterday, it's likely to feel like, God, this day, you know? So this is where you kind of have to work your creator abilities. And sometimes when we're feeling and experiencing a negative emotion, sometimes we're just lost in it. And it's just easier to just stop all the momentum and sleep. Because trying to meditate when you're in an emotional turmoil, like, not any good. It's not going to do you any good. Like, unless you're like a mega meditator. And in that case, you probably didn't let yourself get to this state where it's like, oh God, you know, if I could have taken a nap on the side of the road yesterday to calm myself down, I probably would have done that. Or a bong hit, if I'm being totally honest, but that was definitely not available. But I was just like, I just felt fear, and I'm not used to practicing fear. So it felt really uncomfortable in my body. And so once I let the relief come, I started milking it. I was like, I'm thankful. I know Ryan's car. I know if he says he's coming, he's coming. And then I just kept thanking Aisha in my head, and I let that momentum go that way. I talked to the girls. I kind of like apologized profusely, which is not my favorite, but in this case, I did get us lost. So I felt like, you know, it's okay to be wrong. Like, I'm fine to be wrong. To me, like, endangering people is not my favorite thing to do. Like, I felt incredibly responsible. And while now I feel like I do have a little bit more of my head wrapped around it, you know, I was thinking, like, why did I do that? You know? But I was climbing up that hill, and I wanted to keep climbing up that hill. But yeah, we need to get out more. And so back to intuition, back to guidance, and back to the hub. Where was I going? So that's kind of how I like to say, like, when you're listening for your intuition, it's like you're tapping in, you know, you're purposely tapping into the hub source. And that's where all the magic can come from, you know, like, yeah, we get to do some cool shit with our human bodies. But when we allow that whole connection so that the bigger part of you, the reason that you came, the bigger part of you gets to experience it in your body, like, that's that, you know? I watched a movie the other night, The Last Dance, a miniseries. You may have seen that. And I was watching it, and one of my favorite parts was watching Michael Jordan. I'm saying the name like I don't know, and I should really know. I do know. I think it's that guy. Watching him like see the people talking about like his game playing it on, and I just liked his face. I liked the confidence, and every so often there were some words in there, excuse me, that were like my words. They know that his frame of mind was vital. Whether they knew that he was like a fully aligned being in that space or not, you know, I don't know, but they know enough to know to protect his mood, you know, so that he can be all of who he is in that moment when it mattered to them, to all of them, including him and especially him. And I was asking Rose the next morning, I'm like, how come he gets to be the only one of all the players? You know, and later in the show, there were other men or other players who didn't feel that fear when they saw him step on the court. You know, they felt also alignment. And in that case, it kind of displayed as, you know, bumping. But for the most part, when he showed up aligned, everybody fell back. You know, they were just like, I don't want to fuck with this guy. And the reason that I practice and teach this is we're all meant to come be our own fucking hero or our own Michael Jordan or our own king and queen, whatever it is that you desire. And how you'll find your way to that is by practicing being in your full expression as often as you can. Whether you're wanting to learn about intuition or to feel better or to have a better relationship with your family or a loved one or with your physical body or emotional body or mental body, all of that can come from yourself, from your alignment. That is how I have done all of my actual work for the past 3 years. And I don't feel like it's going any direction that doesn't say, just keep going. Everything is getting better. And yes, there have been some hard things that I've gotten through, but I have gotten through them. They aren't crippling me anymore. And even when it takes me out for a little while and I need to rest, I get up and I'm excited every day, and I'm curious, and I'm eager, and I'm ready, you know? And that is brand new to me. I'm 40 fucking almost 2 years old. And I have never lived like I live now. And I haven't even gotten to like all the things that are coming for me. You know, ooh, look at my orb. See my orb on my chin? Aw, that's cute. So I just want to share with you and with anybody listening that you have the same abilities in your body to make you that person in your story, for you to be fully happy in your body and comfortable in your skin and comfortable in your arms of the partners that you choose or don't, and do work that you love and create art or music or write or read or draw or dance or all of it, you know, like any of those things that feel good, do those more, you know, like, and this works for all the things. So I don't want to get too lost, but like, I've been talking with more people recently about curbing addiction and stepping away from addiction with practicing alignment. You know, I drank for 20 years and I couldn't take a break for a month. And I started just practicing wanting to do that. I practiced doing things that made me feel better without regret more often than not. And eventually that thing just didn't have space in my life anymore, you know? And now that's not happy me at all. You know, that was happy me then, and that was necessary then. And this is, again, never a diss on booze. If you have a healthy relationship with alcohol, that's wonderful. I have a healthy relationship with many things, you know, but that one I abuse, and it's not good for me, and it's not good for my brain. It's not good for my heart, you know, my heart like this, you know, and I only do things that are good for those parts of me now. So, and that doesn't make me like a goody two shoes. It doesn't make me better than anybody else. It makes me better than Nancy that I was yesterday. Every day I get to be better than I was yesterday. I get to be happier than I was yesterday. And I get to be more me than I was yesterday, more full than I was yesterday. And I just want to help more people find their feet in that space so that they can see what they look like after practicing alignment for a month, so that they can find different things in their body, different fun and different magic, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, because there isn't a wrong word and there isn't a wrong way, you know, like, it's just so dang delicious, you know? Speaking of delicious, I'm gonna go have a snack. And I'm gonna drink more of my great big cup of tea. And thank you for listening if you've made it this far. If you didn't make it this far, it's okay. I understand about getting ready to be ready, and it took me a long time. But I'm not gonna like wait any longer. I think I'm ready to be out the gate now, and I think I'm ready to do all the other parts. So this is that. Happy Saturday. Now I'm gonna go have a snack. Good night.